Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of today's news. And today we will be meeting with one of the Egyptian youth living abroad. Our guest today is Sarah Michelle, and she is living in Canada. She immigrated to Canada with her family since she was 4. We will be knowing more about Sarah and her visits to Egypt. How did she meet with Egyptian youth through the Ministry of Immigration, and she met also with the Minister of Immigration, Dr. Nabila Makram. She will tell us more about her experience here in Egypt in this episode. And in the second segment, we will be having the segment that we introduced last time in our episode last time. This is going to be a 15-minute spot from youth to youth presented by Farah and Mohammed. Now we will start with our first segment, and this is going to be with Sarah Michelle, an Egyptian living in Canada, and she's going to tell us more about her experience in this episode. And thank you for joining us, Sarah. Now we're going to meet with Sarah Michelle, who is an Egyptian living in Canada since she was 4. She will tell us about her experience and her visits to Egypt and her meetings with Egyptian youth through the Ministry of Immigration here in Egypt. Thank you for joining us, Sarah.
Thank you for having me.
Sarah, tell me more about your experience here in Egypt. You immigrated to Canada since you were 4, and since then you're keeping close contact with Egypt. You come to Egypt frequently, and you're meeting with Egyptian youth through the Ministry of Immigration. Tell me more about your experience with Egyptian youth here in Egypt.
So basically, yes, like you said, I did immigrate when I was 4. But I do come back to Egypt every year, and this year as well is like no difference. And through like Facebook and Instagram, I found out about the ministry's initiative for youth studying abroad. And since then, I've been going to their events, and I've met a lot of really amazing people, and I've made friends with them. And it's really been an experience visiting all these parts of Egypt as well.
Tell me more about the places that you visited here in Egypt with your, the youth that you met here in Egypt through the Ministry of Immigration. Which places did you visit?
So we went to for Women, we went to Galila to visit Galila University, and we went to also the Abdin Palace and several other places as well. And like it's really hard to name, but there was a lot of events. They're really not stopping, even though school started. And every time we go somewhere, it's always different what we do. So obviously, like the Council for Women was more of a kind of Q&A session, and more talking about the initiative for empowering women. And then Galila was more about universities and education. So as you can see, it's always something new.
Right. What was the most interesting place you visited?
Honestly, I think till now it's still Galila University. Like I have to say, like Palace, the Palace of Abdin was really nice and it was amazing. But Galila was just like a very different experience, and it was really fun as well. We got to see Galila, and it was my first time there. Like at first I was like, what's Galila? Where are we going?
And Galila is a new area here in Egypt, and the Galila University is a very new university here in Egypt. Tell me more about this university. How did you see it?
So basically we just kind of went by bus, and we went a little bit around the campus until we got in, and it's very beautiful campus. It's big, very outdoorsy, and inside we like they give us like a lecture basically, or like a conference talking about all the progress and the programs they're going to have at the school and all the partnerships they're going to have with the universities abroad as well. So it was really nice to see that.
Mhm. Right. Well, Dr. Nabila Makram, Minister of Immigration, is exerting great efforts to keep close contact with Egyptians abroad. How do you see her efforts and her initiatives in this regard?
I find her initiative and her efforts really admirable. I don't think there was one event where she wasn't there. I'm sure she's a really busy woman, and the fact that she comes to every single event and she stays throughout most of it or all of it, and it's just really nice to see how much care there is for the education of Egyptians, of young Egyptians.
Mhm. And you met with Dr. Nabila Makram, right?
Yes, unfortunately, I didn't talk to her a lot or anything. She's always surrounded, but she's a very nice person, and she's very kind and very intelligent as well.
Right. Also, the Egyptian leadership, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, is giving great attention to the youth. And this is very clear through the youth conferences that are conducted here in Egypt, and also through keeping a continuous dialogue with the Egyptian youth. How important is this to the youth, in your opinion?
I think it's really important because we haven't been seeing like so much progress in recent years with education in Egypt, and then this year I can see that there's a big focus on that, and he's paying a lot of attention to that, and he is really wanting to progress, and he's planning many like the construction of many universities in new like areas in Egypt, and it's a lot of effort, and we want to see that because obviously students keep going abroad to study for the experience and for a higher education. But if we make the higher education here, then we won't need to travel abroad.
Right. Well, Sarah, on the personal level, since you left Egypt when you were 4, but you're still keeping close contact with Egypt and with your family and friends here. Tell me more about this.
So I have a lot of childhood friends here. So like since I was a baby and everything, and since I come back every year, uh, it's just completely normal. There's no awkwardness or anything. And honestly, like I don't talk to them a lot when I'm in Canada because the time difference is like a lot. It's like 6 hours, 7 hours or more, and um, so I can't really talk to them a lot. But when I come here, it's like nothing's changed, and I'm always like there's always something to do. Like I never come here and I'm never bored. So I have like my childhood friends and I have family friends. It's really easy to manage here. It's not like
Mhm.
coming to a tourist. Like it's not touristy.
Right. How do you spend your time here when you're here in Egypt?
So go to I go to the West Coast. I like go out for dinner with my friends.
Right, Sarah, moving to you on the personal level and your education. I think you're studying for a Bachelor of Commerce, as you told me. Tell me more about your education and
Yeah.
how did you select this major? Was it your passion to study commerce?
So basically, it's like this. I want to go into corporate law in the future as my career. So instead of just going straight into law without any like business background, I decided to go into business first. And then
Mm-hmm.
once I graduate, I'll go into law. That's like my initial plan.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I don't know if that's going to still be the case, but I still want to go into corporate law.
Mm-hmm. Right, and you're studying online, right? Due to the current situation in the world and the pandemic, you're studying online. The semester is online, right?
Yes, the semester is online.
How do you assess the online education so far?
Oh, I hate it. I'm much more of a hands-on learner. I can speak for myself and a lot of my friends and my classmates. Everybody says the same thing. It's better to go to university and have a schedule, and it's honestly even less work than it is online. I have to
Mm-hmm.
say, I
Mm-hmm.
have more work than I usually would have.
Mm-hmm. Do you think youth around the world face the same common challenges and have the same dreams? Or, I mean, youth in different countries have different dreams and they face different challenges in every country.
Of course, I don't think there is any like student around the world who hasn't faced any challenges in whether it be in university, whether it be what program they're going to go into, which country they're going to study in, how to achieve their career goals. It's pretty difficult. It's not just an Egyptian thing; it's an everybody thing.
Right. And of course, Egypt and Canada are two different cultures. How do you
Yes.
assess the differences and common features between the two places, between the two states?
So obviously there are some differences between like living here and living in Egypt. I usually come in the summer here, so it's more of a I'm on vacation type of mood. And over here it's much more I feel like there's a lot more like to do for fun. Whereas in Canada, stores close at 9 o'clock and so on. There
Yeah.
isn't really much to it. Honestly, I really like living in Canada. I'm used to it by now. But
Yeah.
but like I really like Egypt. I love Egypt actually. I'm here every summer, and I don't think there was a time when I was like I don't want to come this summer. I've had enough. I was never like that.
Mm. Have you been to any other places outside Cairo? I mean, have you been to Luxor and Aswan, to Hurghada, to Sharm el-Sheikh, to the different, beaches that we have, the lovely beaches that we have here in Egypt?
So I've been to Gona, and
Yeah.
I've been to the West Coast, like Sahel. I think that's if that's correct. And I've been to also Sokhna, but I haven't been to Luxor or anything because I know that people usually go there in winter. So I I haven't gone, I have to say.
Mhm. Sarah, on the personal level, tell me about your dreams and plans for the future.
So as I said before, like I do want to eventually get into corporate law, like my career. Uh, so far, there really isn't much else to it. I'm really just focused on uh, graduating right now. Like I'm just focused on school and like, getting my grades up and everything. And
Mhm.
I'm not really trying to look too much ahead because you never know what happens.
Right. Well, I would like to thank you very much for joining us, Sarah. It was a pleasure having you with us.
Thank you. It was a pleasure being here.
Now, dear viewers, we're going to move to our second segment of the show, and this is going to be a 15-minute spot with Farah and Mohammed. Let's see how Farah and Mohammed and what are they going to tell us in this segment.
Thank you so much, Naveen, for handing it over to us. Hello and welcome again to our TV spot, From Youth to Youth. Today's spot is very special. It's one of its kind. It's about an exchange program where 240 young leaders from 11 different countries get together to represent their countries both diplomatically and culturally. Ship for World Youth, the name of the program, is all designed, funded, and even operated by the Cabinet Office of Japan.
Our guest for today is one of the youth who was delegated by the Ministry of Youth and Sports and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to represent the Egyptian youth abroad. Omar, thank you very much for joining us.
Welcome.
Thank you
Could
for
you
having
please
me
tell
today.
me a very brief idea about the program?
So as you both mentioned, the program is called Ship Forward Youth, or the SWI program, and it's a program funded and operated by the Cabinet Office of Japan. The program takes place every year to involve more than 240 participants from 11 different countries around the world, so that the 240 participants are from Japan and 10 other countries, and those 10 countries vary from a year to another based on the selection of the Cabinet Office of Japan, because it's the entity that's responsible for selecting the participating countries with Japan. So for this year, with Japan, we had Egypt, Kenya, Sri Lanka, New Zealand, Bahrain, UK, France, Mexico, Peru, and Brazil. So as you can see, it's
Wow,
from
a
all
lot.
over the world. Yeah. So the aim of the program, and actually, as I mentioned, it's 240 participants. So the distribution of the 240 participants over the participating countries is 120 participants for the Japanese delegation and 120 participants for the other delegation, which is 12 participants per the delegation, so that we have 120 participants from Japan and 120 participants from overseas.
Half
so
and half.
yeah, half and half. So that the aim of the program is gathering all of these youth from all over the world so that they can discuss the global issues and share their point of views about the global issues, and as well as participating in some like activities so that they can cultivate the global mindset for them.
Omar, actually, because you mentioned that, I know it was such a hard process to be chosen for such a program. So please walk me through the process of selection and support presented by Egyptian authorities for our delegation.
So regarding the first part, which is the selection process, it all started when Egypt was selected to participate in this year's edition of the program. So when the Cabinet Office of Japan selected Egypt, they sent to the Japanese embassy in Egypt to contact the entity responsible for youth affairs in Egypt, which is the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and asked them to like nominate 24 participants for the program, so that the Japanese embassy select the final 12 participants that will participate in the program in the Egyptian delegation. So the Egyptian Ministry of Youth and Sports took the selection process, and we started with more than, I guess, 250 participants, applicants for the program. And we had two phases of the interview in the Ministry of Youth and Sport. The first one was regarding testing the English language and the general awareness of the program, and after that, we had the second phase of the interview, which was regarding, it was much more advanced than the first one, because we were asked questions related to our intention to participate in the program, and about our awareness about the global issues and the Egyptian engagement toward the Sustainable Development Goals, and questions about Japan and the Japanese culture. And this was, the final
Very
interview.
specific.
Yeah, a lot of questions actually. And this was the final interview that we had in the Ministry of Youth and Sports. And after that, we were filtered to just 24 participants from
So,
the...
allow me to interrupt you here, Omar. As we can see, we have got a couple of pictures on the screen, and we can see that there are almost 12 faces on the screen, as
Yeah.
you mentioned, because we have 12 participating countries. Can you please introduce us? What type of costume are they wearing? Is it the Egyptian?
Yeah, they are wearing the Nubian customs.
Oh yeah, I could
Yeah.
recognize that. And you're over there.
Yeah, because we had something called a club activity in which we teach it, or we train them how to perform Nubian dance. They really like the Nubian dance because we performed Nubian dance actually in our national presentation, because there is something called the national presentation, which is required from each delegation
Wow.
to represent something from their own culture. So we represented the Nubian dance among other kind of dances like this one and
Who
other.
doesn't like the Nubian dance?
Sorry.
Who doesn't like it? It's very nice.
Yeah, they really liked like the colorful outfits and stuff like that. So it was really fun.
And what about these ones?
Yeah, it was also part of the national presentation that we had, because we tried to express or present like different types of the Egyptian folklore. So we had stuff from like dances from Upper Egypt and dances from Alexandria and Nuba, so that we like show them the Egyptian diversity.
And being exposed to such a diversely cultured program, were you faced by any kind of culture shocks, or have you found any similarities perhaps?
Okay, regarding the cultural shocks, actually I didn't find any cultural shocks, because I have experienced such programs before, because I traveled to like this kind of programs where you get exposed to people from different countries and see different places. So I guess this helped me to overcome the point of getting a cultural shock. And regarding the similarities, I see that the Japanese people are so friendly, and they are offering help even if they don't know you. which is like similar to the Egyptian people, because I remember when we were working in Tokyo, we were trying to go to somewhere and we were kind of lost, and there was a woman that offered help to us, and she came back all the way for, I guess, 100 meters to show us where the place exactly is. So they're so
Let
helpful.
me interrupt you, please. What is that? Can you tell us more about this picture?
Okay, this was a club activity that we had on board, in which we were like learning how to write in Japanese, the Japanese calligraphy. And this is my name in Japanese. This is Omar in Japanese, and
very
I teach him
interesting.
how to write his name in Arabic, which is Yuichiro.
So you were able to teach 12 people the Nubian dance, as well as write their names in Arabic. That's impressive, and you're truly a representation for your country.
Yeah.
But before we can do that, I'm pretty sure that you went through, let's say, a preparation stage, maybe supported by the Egyptian authorities. I was wondering if you can please give us a very brief idea about what happened in the preparation stage and how you were able to be very well trained like that.
Yeah, talking about the preparation that we had, actually I would like to thank the Ministry of Youth and Sports, because we really went through a lot of preparations, because the role of ministry and the contribution of the ministry towards the program wasn't just limited to selecting the participants, but they actually gave all support to us, whether financially or technically, starting from the day we were accepted in the program till the day we traveled to Japan, because we had like several camps so that we get to know more about the program and get to know what we are going to do there and to prepare well for the program. And this was in partnership with the Egyptian Alumni Association for the Ship Forward Youth, and we got the opportunity to meet with the XPYs, like the ex-participants who participated in the program before, to give us some of their knowledge about the program and what we are looking forward to do
So
in the program.
PYs generally stands for participating youth?
Exactly, yeah, the PY is participating youth.
Mohammed, because you spoke of that, I really want to ask you, if we rewind the clocks back to the preparation stages, is there anything our delegation should change? Is there anything our delegation presented for the first time?
Yeah, actually, we just spoke about the Nubian dance. I don't think that any of the previous delegation, the Egyptian delegation that participated in the program, performed the Nubian dance among the national presentation. I guess it was done for the first time, and it was really good and successful, because the people, as you see, they like the Nubian dance very much, and that's why we started the club activity to teach them how to perform Nubian dance.
So was there any kind of, apart from the national presentation, of course, was there any kind of, let's say, event for the country itself, like let's say a night specific for Egypt, a presentation, another kind of activity that represented Egypt, and you think that you have achieved so much in this event that you would like to share with the audience?
Okay, as we spoke about the national presentation, in which we are required to represent our country, and this kind of like activity, it's kind of like official. And beside the national presentation, we had a delegation night in which like each delegation they offer food from their own culture, and they offer they play songs and stuff like that. And it's not official, it's like casual, you know, and so that we get to know more about the cultures with us in the program.
Was it special? What was the night special, and what made it special?
Yeah, it was so special because actually we in this night, the other delegations in the Egyptian night, they tried like different and various like kinds of the Egyptian food, like fool and tahina, halawa, yeah, and they tried a lot of things, and they really liked the Egyptian food. And I remember one of my friends, like so far we came back from the program 9 months ago, and one of them still remember the Egyptian food, and he asked me to bring him some Egyptian food when I go to Mexico. Yeah.
That's very interesting. And tell me, Omar, are there any aspects of your personality that you think has changed over the long term, maybe?
Yeah, my personality changed because of this program, and actually because of the people I met there, because it's not just a program where you go and discuss global issues and meet with new people, but when I came back from this program, we really made a strong friendships with the people participating with us in the program, because when we came back, I thought that we're going to stay in contact for just a month or something, because we just came back from the program, but it's almost 9 months now, and we're still in contact.
Friendships.
Yeah, and we have actual plans. We have actual plans to visit each other in the countries and go to other countries, and there are some people that are coming to Egypt next month, or in 2 months from now.
This is very nice. It's like lifetime friendships.
Exactly.
I would love to join though.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that behind every positive aspect, there might be some sort of, let's say, obstacle or areas of improvement that could be done. However, let me ask you a question. What was the hardest part of the program? Was it the homesickness, the seasickness? I'm pretty sure you told me the program is on a ship, so obviously it should be rolling like every time. Would you please also give us an introduction about the route? Where did it depart from and where did it arrive to?
So regarding the program started in Tokyo, where we had the onshore training, so that we get to know, deeply about the program and to meet the other delegations and get to know each other and know what we are going to do within the next 1 month and a half. And we started then after we had this orientation in Tokyo in the National Youth Center, we moved to Yokohama, where the port is, in which we found the ship for World Youth. It's called Nippon Maru. And then we moved to Yokohama, from Yokohama, sailing the Pacific Ocean to Mexico, passing by Hawaii. And we had a port of call in Mexico, specifically in a city called Ensenada. And there we had a port of call we had some activities and we had some institutional visits, and it was really good to visit.
Sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
Sounds very interesting.
Tell me about the Pacific. I'm pretty sure you told me that it was like 9 months ago. We're talking about January.
Exactly.
How's the weather conditions in that?
Yeah, the weather was actually very cold, and we suffered a little bit from the seasickness because we're not used to this kind of, because like the whole environment you're living in is moving and it's sailing in the ocean.
Stable.
Yeah, it's not stable. So we used to take seasickness bills for 1 week since we started the program. Yeah, to get adapted with this kind of environment.
But you finally adapted.
Yeah,
So that's good.
It didn't take much time. Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
Well, I have to say you were definitely all well chosen, because besides the seasickness, besides the homesickness, as well as the responsibility of representing your country, I'm pretty sure you were able to do a very good job. So I would like to congratulate you very much on your great achievement, and I would like to thank you very much for joining us for today.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Well, today was definitely a true inspiration for all of us. Let's wait and see what next episodes hold for us. Bye.
Thank you, Farah. Thank you, Mohammed, for the interesting spot. And the viewers, that brings us to the end of this edition of today's Youth. Many thanks for watching. And don't forget to join us next week, same time, same